Yeah, Stu approached him. There had been another announcer for Stampede Wrestling. I don't recall his name. It's actually written in a couple of books that have appeared since then. Um, but Stu approached my dad because he was the local news and sports guy, and he was known. And uh, Dad was kind of resistant to the idea initially because it's like, news and sports guy, serious. Wrestling, not so serious, right? So I don't think my dad would have ever said it, but there might have been a concern about professional reputation there, uh, ex- understandably so. But I believe, as far as I know, Stu made him a financial offer that he kind of couldn't turn down. That was uh, quite the boost to his salary, shall we say, at CHCT. So he gave it a shot, and well, look what happened.
He owned it.
Yeah, and in fact, now I do clearly remember when it fell apart because I was there.
Mm.
Um, the night that uh, Bad News Allen uh, stabbed Archie the Stomper's son, wasn't his son, in the head with a fork, and then pile drived him into the cement and supposedly sent him to hospital. Um, and this whole thing, naturally, because it was Stampede Wrestling, was a setup. But this was also the one time that they neglected to let my dad know what was going on and what was going to happen. And my dad, having no stomach for violence, was furious. And as far as he was concerned, Stampede Wrestling and wrestling in general was supposed to be fun family entertainment. And keep in mind, this was long before WWE or WWF, whatever it is nowadays, with their crazy storylines and sexualized shit all over the place. It was just, you had the good guy, you had the bad guy, they met, ta-da, that was that. Of course, there was also midgets, but midget wrestling, yeah, that's not a thing anymore. But yeah, they didn't let him in on the gag, or that the heels were going to do this to the pretty boys, or whatever the terminology is, and he lost his mind. He said, I don't, he gets on camera and goes, I don't know what to tell you. This is not what I think family fun should be. And meantime, Archie the Stomper could see what was coming, what my dad was building up to as he was talking on the mic, and you could see him in the footage standing behind Ed and going, no, don't let, and putting his head down and like, don't do this, right? And he resigned on air. That was it. And he was kind of like, I don't know what to tell you, but this isn't what I wanted it to be. And meantime, in between time, that's it. And he hung up his mic over the ropes, and he walked off camera, right? And well, it's shot on Friday night and it's broadcast on Saturday, so the station freaked and called him Saturday morning. It's like, Ed, don't worry, we can edit that out. Don't worry, it's all good. And he's like, why would you edit it out? I'm dead serious. Now, what a lot of people may not know, if they're not familiar with the history of Stampede Wrestling, is that when he left, the ratings tanked. They tanked badly. And I do recall, of course, these weren't conversations I would have ever been privy to. I do recall hearing that, Stu kept approaching him and saying, Ed, come back, we need you, come back. And, the cynical part of my brain's going, well, yeah, of course he wanted him back because his show was tanking. But, yeah, that was kind of an interesting little positive, negative pat on the shoulder for him, because You know, he'd reached his limit of what he thought the violence should be for a family show, and he's like, nope, I don't want to be associated with this anymore. And the second he did that, the show kind of went. Yeah. And I mean, it was never. I mean, yeah, it was nice for him to have the money in his pocket, right? But it was never a serious thing to him. I mean, he often referred to it as the Colgate Comedy Hour, where Colgate came into it. I have no idea. Maybe they were a sponsor at one point, and that turned into a thing. But yeah, he never took it as serious sports. And how could you? I mean, I know wrestling fans will defend it to the end of the earth, and hey, it's their passion, whatever makes you crazy. But I mean, I know from spending time backstage in the dressing rooms what the heels and the pretty boys were actually like. And granted, I see it's through a haze of youth, but I still have that experience, and I still see these guys joking around, and they're out of character now. I know when I saw guys, even then, as a kid, when I saw guys going in with tape on their knuckles, I knew they had little razors in there, because they'd go like that, after they got hit in the face, they'd go like that and give themselves a little nick, and next thing you know, there's blood all over the place, and everybody's losing their minds, and yeah, but it's all theatrics.
Everyone has a story. It's time to tell yours.